and scan the human interest and trending topics that matter. Stay tuned to The Issues, your plug to the stories making the buzz, from politics to science and technology, social justice, and more. Let's tackle the tough questions and expose the truth. The Issues, on Voice of the People Television, Mondays to Fridays, 8 to 9 p.m. The Issues. Don't just react, understand.
To know the happenings in the maritime sector, join us on the program Maritime Frontiers on VOP TV as we discuss key areas in the maritime sector, from aquaculture, maritime transportation, maritime labor regulation, oil and gas exploration, ferry and passenger insurance, marine pollution and prevention, port operations, and lots more. Maritime Frontiers, exploring Nigeria's blue economy.
Are you ready for the extraordinary? Something big is happening on your screen. Introducing VOP TV. Now streaming on SLTV channel 264. From breaking news to captivating conversations, news analysis, giving you all sides to the story. We break in-depth discussions on the issues that matter, from politics to sports, entertainment, and lifestyle. VOP TV on SLTV channel 264. Join us as we redefine what television means to you. Voice of the People Television, VOP TV. Now you have more than a voice.
In a world where power shifts with every headlines, news breaks and events happens, we bring you unbiased and explicit information on politics, economy, and state of the nation. We break down the chaos. Facts, not fluff. Truth, not spin. We discuss not just politics, but a glimpse into the future. Voice of the People Television. Now you have more than a voice.
Do you want your voice to be heard? Do you know that you matter in the scheme of things? The People's Voice, the show where ordinary citizens take center stage as we discuss the biggest stories that affect you and I. With you in mind, we facilitate lively discussions, debates, and interviews on the topics that matter most to you and I, from social justice to economic empowerment, education to healthcare, governance, and more, tackling tough topics and amplifying your voice. Join the conversation and make your voice count. The People's Voice. Make your voice count.
Hello and welcome to the African News on Voice of the People Television. I am Solomon Ofem. Before we begin the news, kindly visit our website www.vop.ng for fresh and trending news. And for WhatsApp, the number is 0904 473 2605. And now on the news, Britain's foreign minister said she would use a visit to Ethiopia on Monday to focus on measures to try to stem rising numbers of migrants from the Horn of Africa seeking to reach the United Kingdom. Yvette Cooper said job creation partnerships would dissuade people from leaving Ethiopia, while stronger law enforcement cooperation was essential to counter smuggler gangs and speed up returns of migrants with no right to stay in Britain. In a statement, Cooper said that modalities were being worked out to tackle the economic drivers of illegal migration and the criminal gangs who operate globally, profiting from trading in people. Successive British governments have tried to tackle illegal migration, an issue which has helped to propel populist campaigner Nigel Farage's Reform UK party into a commanding opinion poll lead. Meanwhile, a drone strike in Ethiopia's northern Tigray region have killed one person and injured another, sparking concerns of renewed conflict between regional and national forces. The strike hit two Isuzu trucks near Enticho and Jendepta, about 20 kilometers apart, with the Tigrayan official attributing the attack on the Ethiopian National Defense Force, though evidence is lacking. The incident follows clashes in western Tigray's disputed territory claimed by Amhara forces and tensions over Eritrean and Amhara troops in Tigray violating the 2022 peace deal. The region suffers from humanitarian crises, with 80% of the population needing emergency support. Conflicting reports have emerged on the truck's cargo, with TPLF-affiliated Dimtsi Weyana claiming food and cooking items, while pro-government activities allege weapons. In another development, the Somali federal government has denied landing clearance to two planes carrying security personnel from Jubaland and Puntland, citing security concerns ahead of a crucial meeting between regional leaders and the federal government. Defense Minister Ahmed Mualim Fiki stated that the arrival of heavily armed contingents from Jubaland and Puntland poses a serious threat to national security, particularly given the presence of embassies and diplomatic missions at Adhen Aide International Airport. The regional administration have accused the federal government of selectively enforcing security rules to exert political pressure, while the government maintains that standardized security procedures are essential to stability in Mogadishu. The incident has escalated tensions between the federal government and regional leaders, casting uncertainty over upcoming talks on Somalia's electoral roadmap. Elsewhere, a Sudan Airways commercial flight landed at Khartoum International Airport on Sunday, marking the second commercial flight to arrive since the outbreak of Sudan's civil war almost 3 years ago. The domestic flight originated from Port Sudan, a city on the Red Sea coast. The reopening of the airport is seen as a crucial step towards normalizing life in the capital. The airport had suffered major damage during the fight between the Sudanese Armed Forces and the Paramilitary Rapid Support Forces (RSF), which began in April 2023. The army recaptured the capital last year, and the Khartoum in October was previously disrupted by RSF drones. Experts say the resumption of commercial flight is expected to boost efforts to normalize life in Khartoum and support the country's humanitarian response. South Africa's government has declared Israel's charge d'affaires Ariel Sudam persona non grata and ordered him to leave the country within 72 hours. The decision follows several diplomatic social media posts by the Israeli embassy deemed to be breaching diplomatic rules and practices. The Department of International Relations and Cooperation, DIRCO, had previously engaged with the Israeli embassy over its conduct, but says the latest actions have left it no choice but to expel said man. In response, Israel has also declared South Africa's embassy to Palestine, Shaun Bienetet, persona non grata, giving him 72 hours to leave the country. DIRCO spokesperson Crispin Piri said the department is assessing the impact of Israel's move on its service in Palestine and facilitating a potential new ambassador. This report says the U.S. government has announced a policy shift towards Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger, three West African countries battling Islamic insurgency and with military governments that have severe ties with France and aligned with Russia. Nick Checker, head of the U.S. Bureau of African Affairs, will visit Bamako, Mali's capital, to convey the U.S. response and respect for Mali's sovereignty and chart a new course in relations, acknowledging past policy mistakes. The U.S. aims to cooperate with Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger on shared security and economic interest. Notably, absence is the usual embassies on democracy and human rights. The policy change reflects a broader shift in U.S. priorities, focusing on counterterrorism and regional stability over democratic governance. The move comes after the country's military government, which seized power between 2020 and 2023, expelled French troops and strengthened ties with Russia. The U.S. had previously halted military cooperation with these nations following the coup, but now seeks to re-engage, potentially offering security assistance and economic support. With us in the studio to analyze these stories is public affairs analyst and, of course, a legal practitioner, Darlington Agumo. Barrister Agumo, thank you very much for joining us on the news, African News.
Good afternoon, Solomon. How are you?
Very fine, thank you. Now, for our first story to analyze is Britain's foreign minister saying she would use a visit to Ethiopia on Monday to focus on measures to try to stem rising number of migrants from Horn of Africa seeking to reach the United Kingdom. Now, migration has been a hot topic both in Europe and in America, where because of the bad leadership and the economic situation, let's not talk about the different crises in Africa, the number of migration has increased astronomically, with a lot of Africans using the Horn of Africa as a migration route to Europe and sometimes to the US. And do you think this will stop the migration? What are the British embassy saying?
It will never stop it. It will never. I said never. They are just trying to waste their time talking shop. What will stop migration into other West European nations and other is good governance at home. If they want to actually help Africa, they should tell their leaders to do the right thing. They should engage their leaders, especially the corrupt ones who bring our money into their own country. They should stop them, expose them in short, if need be. Expose these leaders so that shame will catch them. And not disturbing people who are trying to find a way of living, trying to find greener pasture. They forgot that the first order of nature is self-survival. They forgot. So, I wish them well in their talk, but it will not stop it. It's a waste of time.
Now, Yvette Cooper said job creation partnership would dissuade people from living in Ethiopia, while a stronger law enforcement cooperation was essential to counter smuggler gangs and speed up return of migrants with no right to stay in Britain. Let's start with the first thing she said, job creations. We know job is one of the numerous issues why people migrate. Do you think job creation is enough?
It is not.
But it will be a good starting point.
Yes. Job creation and then rule of law, then observance of due process, operation and suppression of the people. If you continue with this, people will definitely find a way out. Nobody wants to stay in a toxic environment. Nobody. an environment where you cannot express yourself, where you cannot criticize government for all the bad things they are doing and all that. But in UK, over there, they have this freedom. They criticize their leaders.
With no backlash.
I'm
With
telling
little or no
you,
backlash.
so let them engage the leaders of Africa on these points. That is if they want to help Africa.
I mean, that's a tall order, considering we're talking about 54 countries here with a different style of government, unique situations. That's a tall order.
It is not. It is not, because if these 54 nations of Africa decide to steal all the money in Africa and send it to Europe in one day, it will be possible. True of us.
True.
So why can't it be possible for you to engage them in one day? After all, the world is a global village. You can even do it in batches. If you so wish, do it in batches. Or start giving them aid. Because this aid is not reflecting in the life of Africans. So for what reason then are they collecting this aid? These are things the Western world should be asking. They should engage these leaders. Be very, very frontal. Confront them. Like this morning, World Bank said that their portfolio investment in Nigeria is over 16 billion. And when it was broken down, we discovered that part of this money is money they borrowed to Nigeria. And I asked myself, where is the money?
Where is the evidence?
Now where is the money and where is the evidence? Where is the money? Who took it? What did they do with it? They reflect in the life of Nigerians. What did they do with the money, especially that will impact in the life of the people? I mean, look at it yourself. If a whole 210 trillion naira can be missing in one particular government agency, Solomon, do you know how much is missing in others? Just NNPC, 210 trillion. And nobody, Nigerians, nobody said saying anything, nobody explained anything. This is money that would have helped to better this country. Money that would have been used in several areas. Johansson have been on strike now for 3 months. Is it not because of their welfare, which you are not paying? Well, Solomon, there are things we don't want to talk seriously because it is annoying, seriously. Deliberately annoying.
Now, is there no way for the European governments to, instead of engaging this individual countries, government of this country, because as I said before, that would be a tall order. 54 countries, not small. Can't they engage the African Union instead, or the different regional bodies, ECOWAS, to... We've talked on this platform how, the African Union is a toothless bulldog, as it were. But with an alliance with the European administration, they should be able to pressure these individual governments to do better. Don't you think that's a good way to go?
The access or the means through which they can do this is as weak as the government themselves when it comes to fighting corruption.
No, but you can't exactly call the European government weak. Instead of...
the AU now that you mentioned.
Okay.
You said the European government can engage AU to do something. Is that not what you're saying?
Yes, all the different regional bodies.
Which other one? AU, African Union, it embraces all African states. Is that not true?
True.
So you said it today that they are a toothless bulldog, because if they have been up and doing, most African leaders will not be doing what they are doing. AU will call them to order. AU will personally say, look, Mr. Man, this thing you are doing, this, it is very wrong. But they will tell you sovereignty of the state. You don't need to interfere. Whatever the state is doing, the sovereign nation, you cannot dictate for them what to do and what not to do. Even when they decided that their state policy is corruption, they will tell you, yes, after all, the people are not complaining. That's the next thing you will hear. After the people did you allow them to complain? Is it not when they want to complain, you suppress them? And you say the people are not complaining. Eh? In fact, I don't understand. African leaders, they should go and do orientation. Seriously. The way they reason and the way they behave is so embarrassing. Very, very embarrassing. They are not showing leadership at all. They are not, especially this so-called democracy. They have turned it into another thing entirely. That the people are not getting dividend of it. It's so embarrassing, seriously. To the extent that the Western world is now trying to help us stop killing ourselves in every area. We borrow money from them. We borrow security from them. We borrow morality. We borrow everything. We borrow economy. Everything we borrow from them. So why are you existing as a government? Why are you existing as a government? Can you tell us?
Now, Cooper also said that, stronger law enforcement cooperation was essential to counter smuggler gangs and speed up return of migrants with no right to stay in Britain. We know the relentless drive, like someone that Donald Trump is doing in the U.S., trying to push back illegal migrants in the U.S. Some countries in Britain, of course, are doing the same thing. But do you think that will stop it? So far, it doesn't look like that is stopping because we keep hearing stories of migrants sinking off the Mediterranean Sea, despite these relocation.
Yes, because
in our country.
The shortest route is Italy. And they normally go through this Libya and Morocco coast.
Yeah.
But that of Britain, US, they are tightening it up. In fact, they are serious about it. Illegal and undocumented migrants. They are very hot on it. Because they say those people are undocumented, they are there illegally. Now, Solomon, compare what they are doing over there. And you that open your own border for terrorists to come in. You see them clutching AK-4, just strolling into Nigeria. Please, what does that tell you? Oh, God Almighty. Can you see the difference now? That the people troubling us are people from nowhere outside Nigeria. And government and the military, they are very happy to tell us that they are not Nigeria. They came from Libya. They came from this place. So what are you supposed to do? To come and tell me that foreign terrorists are here to disturb me, Abi? And you're a government. You see them, you spoke. Toju Bello, is it not from Niger? Solomon, Toju Bello, is it not from Niger? How many times have government emissaries gone to meet him where he is? And they had dialogue. And maybe take some cognac. Foreign terrorists in Nigerian soil. Sending people out of their homes, out of their farms. And they are running from Sokoto to wherever, to Zamfara. Because Toju Bello have threatened, if you don't pay money, this and that. You know? Foreign terrorists, so foreign.
Now, Cooper also said modalities were being worked out to tackle the economic drivers of illegal migration and the criminal gangs who operate globally, profiting from trading in people. I mean, some would say this would be a very tall order, considering some of these criminal gangs are state-sponsored.
Not just state-sponsored, they have become bigger than the government. That's why they flat government directive, government order. That's why they flat it. And that's what happens when you fail to take initial step to stop infamy. It will now become bigger and bigger, and then escalate, and then gain more power. Because this thing started small, Abi. They didn't just balloon overnight. They started gradually, and government was seeing it. Because some government officials were complicit, they allowed it to fester. As these illegal miners are doing their thing, they too, they are lining their pockets. They are lining their pockets. They have become so powerful. They now have their own army. They have their own army. In fact, it's terrible. See, the way Nigeria is run, I'm telling you, government measure on minor. The major thing, they are not even addressing it. That is why this insecurity escalated. Because they saw when it was coming gradually, nobody paid attention. Nobody paid attention. This guy became big. And now controlling swaths of territory in Nigeria. Terrorists.
Now, one of the things that's been plaguing Africa is skirmishes and conflict here and there. Obviously, this is bigger than skirmishes, though not as big as what's going on in South Sudan. A drone strike in Ethiopia's northern Tigray region have killed one person, injured another, sparking concerns of renewed conflict between regional and national forces. Had this issue in Ethiopia and even Eritrea, where we've been having incessant conflict between regional and national forces. What's your take on that?
You mean what is causing all these skirmishes? Is that what you're saying? Is it not obvious? You have a weak and corrupt leaders who have deliberately and consciously refused to do the right thing. Is it not in the face of denial, in the face of suppression, in the face of intimidation, threat, that people react? That people react. If you have offered good governance, who will be talking of what? What will you be agitating for? There will be no need. There will be no need. And so, you are the one that called for it. You called for it by your actions and your utterances. What is so difficult in uniting a people that you have been voted in to govern? What is so difficult? Offer good governance. Everybody will be happy. Offer good governance. Everybody will be happy. Like I keep saying, the 210 trillion naira that is missing from the NP, is it not somebody that took it, Solomon? No, it's Spirit that took that money. Then after you turn around and tell the people that there is no money, they should be taxed more. Meanwhile, the people are seeing what you are doing as a government. Is it so difficult for government to find out who and who took that money? Because it is a huge chunk. Up to today, NNPC have not denied that there is nothing like that. Rather, what the man there told us that the money was misplaced. The National Assembly cannot be wrong now. They are the one that blew up, who blew the lead on this scandal. National Assembly. And when they asked him to explain, the man just stayed away. Come to us, come to National, come and tell us what happened. He didn't come up to today. Solomon, he didn't come up to today. Up to today, he didn't come. Then when you are doing all these things, the people you are governing, what are you expecting from them? To behave very well, to behave like good citizens. Really? Oh, you beat a child and you ask that child not to cry again. Is it possible? You are breeding a terror under your rule, but you don't know. You are breeding a terror within your environment. You are breeding rebels because they are going to rebel against all these things now. They will rebel. They will rebel. That is the only way people can express themselves. They will rebel and go into armed struggle with you. And tomorrow you turn around and say, these people, they are disturbing. I don't know who is behind this. Foreign powers are threatening us. Foreign powers are using them. You are the one that called for it. Don't deceive yourself.
Now, this Tigray territory has been a disputed territory, and the region suffers from humanitarian crisis with 80% of the population needing emergency support. 80%, that's a huge, amount of persons that need emergency support.
They want to exterminate them from the face of the earth, Abi. Let them go ahead. Britain left European Union just yesterday. Nobody break any head. No single noise. It is only in Africa that people say, look, I want to go and determine my future. I want to paddle my own canoe. I want to determine my destiny and my future. It is only in Africa that that has become a crime. You mean the UN that put it into their charter is stupid? A whole United Nations, they put into their charter. And some African states have domesticated it. But when it comes to implementation, it becomes a war. It becomes a war. You're a member of the UN. You are supposed to domesticate all UN charter into your constitution. Yes, that is why you're a member. They know that, yes, these things are going to be possible. That's why they put it there. Allow the people, let them do referendum, whether they want to stay or not. Do you know that that was how we lost Southern Cameroon? Are you aware? In 1963, they did a referendum. Zik asked to do a referendum, whether they want to belong to Nigeria or to Cameroon. It was that referendum that saved the situation. They would have become part of Nigeria today. And that's it.
I'm not sure they're living even better in Cameroon. Cameroon also have their issues.
Yes, because now that's the English part of Cameroon. Today now, the new generation have come to see that that initial referendum was wrongly done. Because if it had succeeded, maybe they would have been better off in Nigeria. They are now agitating because they have seen that they are not meeting up. They are not included in the scheme of things in Cameroon. They are seen as outsiders. And so they are agitating now. They are agitating. That is what happens with people. You can't force them against their will because you want to do what? No, it's not done. You are breeding rebel under your watch. If they want to go, why not give them space? Give them space. Give them space. Let them go and see, and then you have peace. That's all. Give them space. Let them have it so that you too can have peace. The white men that are doing all these things, do you think they don't know what they are doing? They know that, yes, people can decide where to go and how to go about it. Doesn't, even if you're only two people, you say you don't want, go ahead. By the time you see the advantage and disadvantages, nobody will tell you to come back. Britain has left Europe. This is the third time now. Are you aware? Britain, the third time they are leaving Europe. Then after, they will come back again. They will come back again. That is human being. You are not supposed to be in a straitjacket situation. You know that you are not compatible. Culturally, traditionally, religious, in all ramifications, you know. So how can you work together for God's sake? How? Do you know what has stifled development in Nigeria? It's because 3 strange bedfellows were asked to go and stay in a room.
I mean, it's more than 3.
I mean the major. Yeah, let us assume the major. The major. From there, you can now separate the minors. Look at what is going on since independence. No peace. Nigeria have not gone through one decade in this without skirmishes here and there, without troubles here and there. Because they cannot align with each other. And government is not making things better. By their action, their policies and their utterances, they are dividing the people the more. And so how can there be peace? Is it not peace that brings progress? Is it not peace that brings progress? Some people have kept us busy here for 15 years now. 15 good years. We have never slept with 2 eyes closed. And we have spent over 23 trillion naira trying to stop their menace. This is money the government needed to improve infrastructure, school, hospital, road, everything you can think of. We are wasting it to fight some rascals.
Now, let's go over to Somalia, where the federal government has denied landing clearance to 2 planes. This is coming ahead of a crucial meeting between the regional leaders and the federal government. More of the same thing that is going on in Ethiopia is the same thing going on in Somalia. It seems Somalia have issues much more than just Somaliland, but at least they are trying to resolve the issues they have between the federal government and the regional government, because there is a crucial meeting, that's supposed to take place between those, the federal government and regional leadership.
I mean, at the end of the day, all war end up at the conference room. All disagreement end up at the conference room. The question is, why did you allow the disagreement to fester in the first place? If you truly want peace, the moment you see somebody saying no, I no go agree, call the person and say, come. Wait till you no go agree, what will happen? But most times, African leaders, African government will not do that. They will allow the thing to fester and fester and fester. And maybe even waste lives and property before they will now remember that they need to go to a conference room and talk about it. Is that not what happened in Africa? So this discussion now, it should have happened like yesterday. Like yesterday. Why did they allow them? There must be a reason why somebody is crying. If a child is crying, there must be a reason. Attend to the need of that child and attend to the need. Talk sense into him or her.
Obviously, the crucial meeting is going to yield something positive. And elsewhere, Sudan Airways commercial flight landed at Khartoum International Airport on Sunday, marking the second commercial flight to arrive since the outbreak of Sudan's civil war almost 3 years ago. This is good news, South Sudan. Gradually, at least there's a commercial flight going on. The question now is, with the civil war going on, these people on board this flight, are they safe? That's a huge question.
They are safe, and they had to be safe because I have always told the Sudanese government they are the cause of this problem. If they had taken a unilateral action to flush out this RSF, they wouldn't have been this bold now. They wouldn't have been this bold.
I mean, it's not that simple. RSF, they have a very strong force.
Look, there is no force that is bigger than the government. I always believe in this. After God, it is government. Except you didn't do the needful. Except you have surrendered your right to rebels. Then you can come and tell me that these people, they are very powerful. Power waiting. You are a government. You can blockade all their entry routes and all that. You can stop things from coming. I am giving you an example with the Biafran war. The federal government blocked Bakassi, took over Port Harcourt. Is that not the beginning of the end of the war? No, tell me. They took our money from the bank to strangulate their financial need. So many things they did to make sure that the Biafra surrender. So if you didn't do all the work, don't come and tell me that any group is more powerful than you. You just didn't want to do the needful. Like now, they gave you 400 names of those causing terrorism, sponsoring terrorism in Nigeria. You are with the list. The people are here with you. Yet, you are too afraid to even mention their name, not to talk of prosecuting them. So who is the problem here now? Are you not the one? No, tomorrow you tell me that you are fighting terrorism. Meanwhile, you are not doing anything. You are not doing anything. You are pampering them.
And then in South Africa, there's a tit-for-tat going on there, sort of a diplomatic war between South Africa and Israel. South Africa has become one of the few countries in Africa that has opposed to what's going on with between Israel and what was supposed to be Israel and Hamas, that some allege that it has become Israel and Palestine. So the diplomats in Israeli diplomats in South Africa has been given 72 hours to leave over problematic social media posts that the Israeli embassy deemed to have breached diplomatic rules and practices. What's your take on that?
I will advise South Africa, Though they are talking from experience, and you know they went through apartheid for many years.
Yes, they did.
And so they see what Israel is doing
In Gaza.
in Gaza as apartheid. So they have every reason to sympathize with the people of Gaza. You know, granted that Hamas invaded Israel in October 2 years ago, Abi?
Yes.
Good. But they have revenge or over retaliated. That is why the world is now saying, look, it's enough. And that's why Israel and even the other European countries, they came hard on Israel to stop the mass murder that are going on there. So if Israel is sympathizing with that, it's their right. South Africa, America can no longer impose their will on anybody to flow with them whenever things are going wrong. That is just the truth. They should not blame South Africa. If they are not an independent and sovereign nation, why not? If not, they can pursue their rights wherever it is threatened. Yes.
And finally, after the brouhaha that, for lack of a better word, that have emerged from the coup in Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger, the U.S. is aiming to recalibrate their cooperation with these three countries, in the sense that instead of making them a pariah, they're trying to reconnect with these countries, with the report that the U.S. government has announced a policy shift towards these three countries battling, if not for anything, because of the battle of Islamic insurgents, between, and the fact that these three countries trying to shift their alliance to Russia, which will not exactly benefit the United States.
It has become a battleground for world powers.
It has, actually.
It has become a battleground for world powers.
A proxy war.
Yes, because I remember what happened in Afghanistan. Whenever the world powers are interested in that, what happens? They are not coming for any other reason except to have a foothold in these countries, and then have a overriding influence on them. Nothing else. The Sahel region is now becoming a battleground for world powers. Already the Wagner brothers are there, trying to help them fight these terrorists. Now, if America comes, how would they work? You can see now. Their presence might even cause more problem than it came to solve.
So do you think this battle is coming under the guise of the fight against the terrorism?
Yeah, because
or it is a legitimate concern?
On the surface, yes, because when France was there, was it any better? When their colonial masters was there, please, did things get better? Why couldn't they flush out the terrorists? Why couldn't they? That is the problem. So we don't know, except they are telling me now that France, America, and Russia will collaborate and fight these terrorists once and for all and stamp them out. I cannot listen. But if they came to pursue their individual goal in the Sahel region, the problem will not be solved, because one will be sabotaging the other. Sure. One may be sponsoring the terrorists. That is the truth.
Okay, Barrister Gomo, thank you very much. It's always a pleasure talking to you.
It's my pleasure.
You are watching African News on Voice of the People television. When we return, demonstration, Matatu operators strike causes chaos in Kenyan Road. These and more stories coming your way after this break. Join us again. Welcome back. Vehicles were stranded on several highways in Kenya on Monday as Matatu operators headed calls to stay off the roads in protest against frequent torching of vehicles by violent motorcycle taxi operators known as Boda riders. The strike, which was initially planned by the Matatu Owners Association MOA, caused significant disruptions on major roads, including Outer Ring Road, Miyaki Way, and Thika Road. Long queues of vehicles were seen along Outer Ring Road after passenger service vehicles blocked sections of the road. Motorists using Miyaki Way were similarly affected as the Matatu operators blocked the road in solidarity with the protest. Traffic disruptions were also reported on Thika Road, where snare-ups stretched for several kilometers. MOA had announced plans to hold demonstrations on February 2, 2026 in response to the torching of vehicles by Boda riders, demanding action from government agencies. However, the Federation of Public Transportation Sector, FPTS, suspended the planned strike on Sunday evening to allow room for dialogue. But the Matatu operators proceeded with the protest, demanding protection from the government and compensation for destroyed vehicles. Reports say the demonstration has caused significant inconveniences to commuters, with many forced to seek alternative routes or modes of transport. Malawi has declared an outbreak of circulating vaccine-derived poliovirus type 2 after the virus was detected in environmental samples by from Blantyre, the country's commercial city. The health ministry has warned that the virus poses serious health risks, particularly to children, and can cause irreversible paralysis. The virus was identified through routine sewage surveillance, and the ministry is taking measures to respond to the outbreak. Malawi had previously declared a polio outbreak in February 2022 after a case of wild poliovirus type 1 was detected but has been polio-free since then. UNICEF has been supporting the Malawi government in its efforts to end polio, including procuring vaccine doses and strengthening the immunization supply chain. Polio can cause physical disability if left unchecked. Mozambique has reported 12 deaths from cholera in the last 24 hours, with 135 new cases recorded, according to official data. The provinces of Tete, Mampula, and Cabo Delgado are the most affected, with Tete province being the epicenter of the outbreak. The death toll in Tete has more than doubled in recent days, with 87 new patients recorded in 24 hours. On January 28 alone, Mozambique recorded 135 new cases, with 49 patients admitted to the hospital. The government had developed a plan in September last year to eliminate cholera as a public health problem by 2030, following 169 deaths from the disease in 2025. And out of business news, the South African rand weakened in early trade on Monday, pressured by a firmer US dollar as investors weighed the potential impact of Kevin Walsh's nomination as Federal Reserve Chair. At 07:24 GMT, the rand traded at 16.222 against the dollar, about 0.4% down from Friday's close. The rand is sensitive to global drivers, particularly US policy, and is awaiting the release of the APSA PMI survey at 09:00 GMT, which will provide insight into manufacturing conditions in South Africa's economy. Manufacturing sentiment will fall in December to its lowest level of manufacturing sentiment fell in December to its lowest level for 2025, driven by declines in inventories and employment indices. South Africa's largest grocer, Shoprite Holdings, expect its profit for the second half of 2025 to rise up to 10.02% due to strong festive season demand. The retailer anticipates headline earnings per share from continuing operations to increase by 5.2% to 10.2% in the 6 months ended December 28, 2025 from restated 659.8 cents. Group sales rose by 7.2% to 136.8 billion rand, amounting to $8.40 billion, driven by a 7.1% growth in South African supermarket sales. All of Shoprite's food and non-food chains reported growth, with the supermarket RSA segment contributing 84.3% to group sales. And now to sports news. South Africa's sports minister, Gayton McKenzie, has denied reports that the country will host the 2026 Women's Africa Cup of Nations, WAFCON, saying no formal decision has been taken to relocate the tournament from Morocco. This follows a statement by his deputy, Pris Mabe, who announced that South Africa would step in and stage the finals. McKenzie later clarified that Morocco remains the officially designated host of WAFCON 2026, which is scheduled to kick off on March 17. The confusion has raised questions about the hosting right of the tournament. Pyramid FC moved closer to the quarterfinals of CAF Champions League after a 2-0 win over RS Berkane in Cairo, while Power Dynamos revived their campaign with a 1-0 away win against Rivers United. In Group A, Pyramids FC's commanding victory lifted them to 10 points, 3 clear at the top of the group. Mahmoud Abdel Hafiz Zalaka opened the scoring earlier before Nasiru Mahar and Ahmed Atef Qatar sealed a dominant performance. Power Dynamo's Kundu Amakosi secured a crucial away win over Zesco United in Ndola. In the 9 to 10 news, wrapping up the African news, South African singer Tyler has won her second Grammy Award for Best African Music Performance, beating 4 other nominees, including 3 Nigerian artists at the 68th Annual Grammy Awards in Los Angeles. Tyler's song Push to Start took top honors over tracks by Aria Star, Burna Boy, Davido, and Ugandan singer Eddie Kenzo. This marks Tyler's second win in the category, following her inaugural win in 2024 for a global hit, Water. The Best African Music Performance category was introduced in 2024 to recognize outstanding African songs and promote African music worldwide. And that's all on the African news. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel at Voice of the People TV and on other social media platforms at VOP TV Live. If you witness news happening near you, we want to hear from you. Send your eyewitness report, event coverage request, photos or videos directly via WhatsApp to 0814 606 4057. You can also reach our newsroom by email at news@vop.ng. I am Solomon Ofem. Thanks for watching.
In a world